Well, what do you know, it's our 6th review of the month. So, today at the Channel Points Request of Blade, we are going to look at Scream 6, released earlier this year on March 6th, 2023. And yes, that's right, after not calling Scream 5 Scream 5, they just called it Scream much like the original Scream, they decided to call this one Scream 6, because fuck you, I guess. Much like the previous film, this one centers around Sam Carpenter, the illegitimate daughter of Billy Loomis, the killer from the first movie, who, in the events of the previous movie, was almost killed by her boyfriend Richie. Sam has since moved to New York City with her sister Tara and the Meeks twins Mindy and Chad, who also survived the previous movie's events. But wouldn't you know it, there's a new Ghostface killer. Shocker, I know, and they're trying to kill Sam. Shocker, I know, so guess we'll see if she survives. Melissa Barrera, of course, is back as Sam, and also returning in their roles are Jenna Ortega as Tara, Jasmine Savory Brown as Mindy, and Mason Gooding as Chad. Courtney Cox returns again as Gail Weathers, and Roger L. Jackson is once again the voice of Ghostface. There's also another returning actor or actress, which I will not disclose until we get into the movie. Someone who did not return for this film, however, shockingly, was Neve Campbell. Yes, that's right, no Sidney Prescott in this movie, because Neve Campbell, the main focus of this entire fucking franchise, was lowballed by Paramount Pictures. Yes, that's right, the one person who probably deserved to get paid more than anybody for this franchise got lowballed. Man, I wonder why the Actors Guild went on strike. They decided to go bigger and better for this film as well, increasing the runtime by 8 minutes over Scream 5, and also increasing the budget from $24 million to somewhere in between $33 and $35 million. It paid off in the box office too, as this made $169 million, up over 30 from the previous film. It also got mostly positive reviews from critics, as while critics usually do hate slasher films, they've always seemed to have a soft spot for this franchise. But who's trying to kill Sam and her friends this time? Well, let's find out right now as we look at Scream 6, released in 2023. So our film begins in New York City, 1 year after the events of the previous film. Laura Crane, a professor at Blackmore University, is at a bar on a blind date with someone called Reggie. Reggie calls Laura saying that he has problems finding the place and is able to lure her into an alleyway. Reggie's voice then changes, however, and then Ghostface appears and stabs her to death. And then, in a very unprecedented move for this franchise, the killer unmasks. It's revealed from his jacket the man is actually a student at Blackmore University, and we learn his name is Jason from Tara, who apparently he's friends with. Jason returns to his apartment where he lives with his roommate Greg. Greg then calls him on the phone using the Ghostface voice, and they talk about what Jason just did. Turns out Jason and Greg are planning to kill Sam and Tara tonight at a party to finish the quote-unquote movie of Richie and Amber from the previous film. Throughout the conversation though, Jason continues to suspect that it might not actually be Greg that he's talking to. This is confirmed when he opens his fridge and finds Greg cut up in there. The mystery Ghostface then jumps him from behind and stabs him to death. We then go to Sam, who is meeting with her therapist named Christopher Stone. Seems all they ever do is talk about how Tara is not dealing with their trauma properly, and she hasn't actually told her therapist anything. So she does, she tells him that she's Billy Loomis's daughter and the events of what happened in the previous film. To make matters worse, in the past year, someone has started online rumors that she was the real killer, and people believe it. And after she mentioned how she stabbed Richie to death and thought that it felt right, she understandably freaks her therapist the fuck out, and he drops her as a client. Sam returns to her apartment where she lives with Tara and their friend Quinn. Sam asks Quinn about Tara, and Quinn lets it slip that Tara actually went to a party that Sam didn't want her to go to, so Sam goes after her. We cut to said party where we see Mindy is there with her new girlfriend Anika. We also see Tara there being chatted up by some dude named Frankie, and she decides to go upstairs with him. Mindy asks Chad to intervene, who is there with his roommate Ethan. Chad gets into it with Frankie after trying to stop them from going upstairs, and then Sam shows up and tasers Frankie in the balls. Furious at this, Tara storms out with the others following her. Tara pleads with Sam to give her some space and let her be her own person, as Sam has basically not left her alone over the course of the past year. Sam then gets a drink thrown on her by some random bitch who thinks she's the real murderer. Back at the apartment, turns out there's some high-grade sexual tension between Chad and Tara. And downstairs in the lobby, it's revealed that Sam has secretly been seeing her neighbor named Danny. They're called upstairs, however, as the deaths of Greg and Jason are being reported on the news. Since they knew them and have a close connection, Sam immediately decides that it's time for them to leave town. Quinn calls her dad Wayne, a police detective, who confirms Sam's fears and also tells her that her ID was found at the crime scene. Sam and Tara decide to go to the police station, just the two of them, but then Sam receives a call from Richie. You really should have deleted that number. Sam picks up and talks to the Ghostface killer, who seems to believe those online rumors that she is the real killer. He then jumps up from behind and chases them into a store. And then this Ghostface proceeds to slaughter everybody in the store, including the shop owner, killing him with his own shotgun, which I'm pretty sure is the first time Ghostface has used a gun. Ghostface hunts the sisters throughout the store before they dump a food stand onto him and escape for the front door. He escapes out the back as the police arrive, leaving a mask. At the police station, they meet with Wayne, who reveals that Sam is actually a prime suspect as of the moment. Wayne is then informed, however, that somebody from the FBI is here to deal with the case. And that FBI agent is Kirby Reed, one of the survivors from Scream 4. If you recall, during the events of Scream 4, Kirby was stabbed by Charlie, and it's assumed that she bled out, although clearly she did not. Kirby meets the girls and tells them that the mask the Ghostface left behind at the crime scene was one of the masks used by the killers in Scream 4. How the hell did they get that? Wayne also tells them that they're not allowed to flee the city since they're prime suspects in a homicide case. As they leave the police station, they're confronted by reporters, including Gale Weathers, who Tara promptly punches right in the face. But why? Well, it turns out Gale is still an asshole and wrote a book on the events of the previous film, even though they asked her not to. And Gale also apparently painted Sam in a bad light, which seems to have maybe started the conspiracy that Sam was the actual killer. They reject Gale's help, but Gale does mention that Sidney Prescott is not coming this time as she's gone into hiding with her family. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. We then go to the house of Sam's former therapist, who gets a knock on his door from a ghost-facey looking figure. He goes to answer it, and he's pulled into his door and stabbed for the eyes. Ghostface then goes into his files and steals Sam's. The whole gang is now back at the college, where Mindy is going over the rules of being in a requel sequel. Because they're not only in a requel, but a sequel to a requel, nobody is off limits. Anybody could be the killer, and anybody could die. Back at the police station, Wayne shows Kirby another mask found from a previous Ghostface killing. They go over to previous Ghostface killers, but for some reason it seems that Wayne suspects Kirby. The gang has now all gone back to Sam's apartment where they think they'll be stronger together, except Ethan, who's not there. And to make matters worse, the news has formally named Sam as the prime suspect in the homicide. The other three main characters console Sam and they all vow to stay together, with Chad calling them the Core Four. Meanwhile, Danny from his apartment sees the Ghostface killer in Quinn's bedroom. It's too late for him to do anything about it though, as Ghostface murders Quinn and shoves her body onto the others. Chad and Tara flee out the door and accidentally lock themselves out of the apartment while Ghostface slashes Mindy on the arm and stabs Anika in the stomach. They're eventually able to lock themselves in a room away from the Ghostface while Danny slides a ladder over from his apartment into Sam's so they can crawl over. Sam and Mindy both make it over, but as Anika is halfway there, the Ghostface gets in the room and knocks over the ladder, sending her to her death. In the aftermath, the next morning, Ethan arrives, and Chad and Mindy put their suspicions solely on him, as he's the only one who wasn't there. Wayne is also understandably distraught over the death of his daughter, and he's been taken off the case, but vows to get this son of a bitch anyway. Gale and Kirby both show up, and they all agree to go with Gale as she's found something interesting. It sure is interesting. She's found an abandoned theater which serves as a shrine to all the previous Ghostface killings. Like seriously, they got everything in here. All the previous Ghostface costumes, which is where they got the masks from, and a variety of items from victims and Ghostfaces in the previous events. Sam investigates the middle shrine to Billy Loomis, where she sees visions of her father, much like the previous film, who is telling her to embrace her dark side and become a killer herself. They then formulate a plan to possibly lure Ghostface out into the open. Sam and Tara walk around a public park with Wayne nearby and Kirby and everyone else in a van, waiting to trace the call when Ghostface eventually does. They do get a call, but Ghostface tells her that he's not even close by. He's all the way on the other side of town. Kirby's trace of the call reveals that to be the truth. He is at the other side of the town, in Gail Weathers' apartment. We cut to Gail in her apartment with her new boyfriend, and she receives a call from Ghostface. Ghostface taunts her about Dewey's death and also kills her new boyfriend in the background. He then leaps out and chases her around her apartment. She's able to get to a gun box, however, and fires off some shots, which temporarily makes him retreat. She locates and seemingly shoots him multiple times, but he jumps out and stabs her. They fight for a bit, and Gail seemingly knocks Ghostface out and goes for the knife. Just as she's about to stab him, however, he sticks her with a piece of broken glass and then turns the tables. But before he can stab her for the face, Sam and Tara show up and Sam chases him off with the gun. Gail then seemingly dies and the paramedics show up but say that she has a weak pulse. Everyone minus Wayne and Kirby meets up in the hotel lobby where Sam has come to a conclusion. The Ghostface seems to just want her dead, and he's not going to stop until he gets her dead, so she might as well just sacrifice herself to protect her friends. The other core 4 members aren't very keen on that idea though, and they decide to protect her instead. They call Wayne up and formulate a plan. They want to lure the Ghostface to that museum shrine and execute him there. Wayne tells them though that they should take public transport getting back to the theater, so they decide to take the subway. However, Mindy and Ethan end up getting separated from the rest of the group missing the first train, and they get on another train 5 minutes behind. Oh, did I mention it's the day before Halloween, so there's a bunch of people in costumes, including in Ghostface masks. Sam and Mindy on their respective trains are both rightly freaked out by the people in Ghostface masks, but Mindy has more cause to be concerned. That's because a Ghostface on her train corners her in the back and stabs her in the stomach. As the train opens on their stop, Ethan comes to the back of the train and finds her stabbed, getting her help as soon as they get off the train. Sam, Tara, Chad, and Danny meanwhile arrive at the theater and meet up with Kirby, but Sam tells Danny that he shouldn't come in with them because they don't know him as well. As they get in, Kirby tells them the plan. It's pretty simple. Once the Ghostface takes the elevator and comes in, they're gonna basically use it as an electric trap box and electrocute his ass to death. Sam goes back to her father's shrine again, and Billy once again urges her to kill, and she goes as far to even take his knife. However, she gets an urgent call from Wayne, who tells her that Kirby was actually kicked out of the FBI 2 months ago due to reckless behavior, and turns out she might be the Ghostface. This seems to be confirmed as Sam realizes that Kirby has locked them in the theater. Chad and Tara, meanwhile, are having a moment and finally make out before they're attacked by Ghostface. Ghostface chases them throughout the theater before Chad knocks him out, and as Chad is about to kill him, he's stabbed by a second Ghostface! Ah! And both the Ghostfaces stab Chad multiple times, more than likely killing him as Sam and Tara flee to the main part of the theater. The Ghostfaces corner them, but they're scared off by Kirby, who is covered in blood. Wayne then shows up, don't know how the hell he got in, the fucking door was locked, and accuses Kirby of being the killer. One of the Ghostfaces comes behind Wayne, and as Kirby tries to warn him, he shoots Kirby down multiple times and tells the Ghostface, "Good work." Yes, turns out Wayne was the mastermind the whole time, and one of the Ghostface killers is Ethan, his son. But that must mean the other Ghostface killer is his daughter, Quinn, who never actually died. Alright, well, now it's time for the motive. I swear to God, if this is another shitty motive about a film, I'm gonna fucking lose it. Turns out, no, it's actually a really fucking awesome motive. Turns out, he actually had a third son, and his third son was Richie. Yes, that's right, this is Richie's family here for revenge on Sam, and they're doing it in this way because of Richie's love for the Stab movies. That's actually a really good motive, how about it? They're preparing to execute Sam, but Sam taunts them about Richie, basically calling him a little pussy bitch boy. This enrages Quinn, who charges them, and Tara knocks her in the face with a brick. Kirby then gets back up and shoots William, but then she's spear tackled by Ethan, who stabs her again. Kirby's having a rough time. Sam then spear tackles and stabs Ethan, and her and Tara escape onto a balcony. While they're trying to get over a tricky part of the balcony, however, Tara almost falls off and Sam can't pull her back up due to the blood on her arm. They're cornered now as Quinn has made her way up into the balcony, and below them is Ethan. Tara instructs Sam to finally let her go, which she does, toppling her onto Ethan. Sam had also given Tara Billy Loomis's knife, which she uses to stab Ethan through the mouth, killing him. Sam then taunts Quinn into charging at her again, and she shoots her dead in the head. Wayne has gotten up on the balcony as well, but Sam is out of bullets, so she says fuck it, and they both charge at each other and tackle each other off the balcony. After being unconscious for a bit, Wayne wakes up and receives a phone call from Sam, who is now using the Ghostface voice. Wayne goes to the Ghostface shrine, where it's revealed that Sam took Billy Loomis's full outfit. Sam then comes at him from behind, and because he's wearing a bulletproof vest, she stabs him all across his arms and in the neck. Jesus Christ, woman. She's about to kill him, but stops, saying she's not a killer like her father, even though she just shot someone in the head about 5 minutes ago. And then she just says fuck it anyway and stabs him in the head, so much for that, I guess. Well, with everyone dead, the sisters sit down for a chat, but I feel like we're forgetting a Scream trope. Oh yeah, the trope of somebody getting up, here's Ethan, but then someone pushes the TV used to kill Stu in Scream 1 onto him, killing him. Turns out it was Kirby, who has once again not bled out. This girl is indestructible. The police then arrive, being led inside by Danny, who thankfully was actually not a killer. Sam and Tara outside start to get Kirby in the ambulance, and Tara begins to cry over Chad's death. Fuck that shit though, Chad is not dead. Barely, but he's not dead. Min even shows up too, hopped up on all kinds of drugs, and goes back to the hospital with Chad in the ambulance. Sam then has a moment to herself in the middle of the street, looking at Billy Loomis's mask, which she kept in her bag. However, as Tara asks her if she's coming, she drops the mask and leaves it in the middle of the street as Sam and Tara walk off to end the film. Alright, well now it's time to resurrect our Scream big board and see where we place this. Well, let me tell you something, brother. This ranking was fucking difficult. Like, I knew it was better than Scream 3 and 4. That's not even close. But ranking it within the top 4 is where I had problems. The goal clearly was for it to be bigger and better than Scream 5, and I think they accomplished that. However, while I really do like Sam and Tara, and I do think that this was their finest hour to this point, do I think it surpassed Sydney's finest hours? No. No, I do not. So, I am going to go ahead and put this third. And here are my new Scream rankings. Number 1, Scream. Number 2, Scream 2. Number 3, Scream 6. Number 4, Scream 5. Number 5, Scream 4. And number 6, Scream 3. Now I'm sure you want to know, will there be a Scream 7? You bet your ass there will be, brother. I think they announced Scream 7 before this movie even released. Neve Campbell has since said that she's open to being in that movie if they pay her properly, so hey assholes, pay her properly. Now, I knew about the prospect of Scream 7 before I watched this movie, and before watching this movie I wasn't really interested in Scream 7 because 7's a lot of fucking movies, dude. However, after actually seeing Scream 6, I am more interested in it because there's a lot of ways you can go with Sam's character. I think Sam turning to the dark side is still a very legitimate possibility. Like, they seem to seemingly rule it out by, having her drop the mask at the end here, but they've teased it all throughout this movie, and you can see it in her eyes, and she's clearly, got the murderous blood in her, so I could see it. I really could see her turning in Scream 7, and it's just a matter of how do you do that? Do you do her versus Tara? Is Tara the one that's gonna have to bring her down in the end? They teased in this movie what the twist they wanted you to believe before the actual twist was revealed was that it was Kirby who had gone crazy. I really do think you could make it work with Sam actually going crazy. I think it would make sense more than anybody in the franchise. And again, maybe it's a combination of Sydney and Tara that has to stop her. After saying, again, I'm very much more interested in Scream 7 after this because there is a lot you can go with it. And I'm interested to see how they do it. Or they could just ignore everything I said completely and just do another random killer. I don't know. And yeah, we'll get to Scream 7 sometime whenever that comes out, but we are not done for this month. We have one more movie to do in 2 days, and it's another 6 movie, Halloween 6, which we'll be looking at this coming Tuesday on Halloween. That is it for my look back of Scream 6, however. Thank you again, Blade, for using your points on this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, be sure to leave it a like. If you want to follow any of my social media links, they're all in the video description down below, as well as names on my Patrons. Thank you to my Patrons for supporting me and my channels. I appreciate you guys. With all that being said, though, my name is Noah Taff. It's been my Scream look back at Scream 6, released just this year in 2023, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.